Okie. Let's unpack this. You've sent over some really crucial material on global sustainability.
Yeah, looking at where we are now and maybe the next 50 years or so.
Exactly. We've got foundational ideas like from the Brundtland Commission back in '87.
That's the one meeting present needs without, well, compromising the future.
And that core idea, that environmental protection, social fairness, economic growth, they all hang together.
Absolutely, plus the newer frameworks.
Right. The UN's Sustainable Development Goals from 2015. Yeah, those 17 big goals.
A universal call to action, yeah, and the Paris Agreement too.
That legally binding climate deal, aiming to keep warming well below 2 degrees.
Preferably 1.5 degrees, yeah.
So the goal here is to get a clear picture of the big challenges and, well, the potential paths forward from these sources.
Sounds good, let's dive in.
So where does the material say we stand right now?
Well, here's where it gets pretty serious. The IPCC's latest assessment report, it's very clear. Human-caused warming, unequivocally we're talking roughly 1.1, maybe 1.15 degrees Celsius. Warming already above pre-industrial levels.
And it's speeding up, isn't it? Faster since 1970 than any time in what? 2,000 years?
At least, and it's driven by record greenhouse gases, CO2, at levels not seen in like 2 million years.
Wow. So what does that mean in terms of changes?
It means widespread rapid changes, more frequent, more intense heat extremes.
Heavier rainfall in some place, huh?
And likely contributing to worse droughts, agricultural, ecological, and other regions.
And these aren't just future projections, are they? We're seeing impacts now.
Oh, definitely. Substantial damage to ecosystems, reduced food. Food and water security is a big one.
Health impacts too.
Yeah, both physical and mental health actually. And people being displaced because of climate-related issues.
It's not just climate, you mentioned. Biodiversity is the well. It sounds like it's in crisis too.
It really is. The WWF's Living Planet report showed on average a 69% drop in monitored animal populations just since 1970.
69%.
That's huge. Yeah, it is. And in some tropical areas it's a staggering 94% decline.
Unbelievable. And extinction rates?
IPBES estimates around 1 million species threatened, many within decades. A rate we've just never seen.
What's causing it?
It's a mix. Big one is changes in land and sea use. Agriculture is a major driver there. Then direct exploitation, hunting, fishing. Climate change is increasingly a factor. Pollution. Plastics. Yeah, plastic pollution up tenfold since 1980, and invasive species disrupting things. And losing
species isn't just sad. It actually affects how ecosystems work.
Exactly. It degrades the services we get from nature. Clean air, water, food security, resilience to disasters. It all gets undermined.
Which links into resource pressure, I imagine?
Absolutely. Take water. A quarter of the world lives with extremely high water stress annually.
A quarter. Wow.
And demand is up more than doubled. Since the 1960s, agriculture is the main consumer there. And climate change just makes it worse.
Forests, too. Still losing them.
We are, yeah, still a high rate, mainly for expanding agriculture.
And then there's the resource demand from the green transition itself.
Right. Huge demand for critical minerals, lithium, cobalt, you name it. That comes with its own challenges, supply chains, environmental impacts from mining.
So, these resource issues are all tangled up.
Very much though. You need integrated management. You can't just tackle one in isolation.
Okay. Let's shift to the human dimension. Inequality seems to be a persistent theme.
It is. Interestingly, inequality between countries has generally declined a bit, okay? But inequality within most countries, that's actually risen since about 1990.
And wealth concentration, extreme.
Plus, a significant global gender gap remains, especially in economic and political power.
Access to basics isn't equal either.
No services, opportunities still very unequal, and poverty, it remains a massive challenge. COVID was a setback for reducing extreme poverty.
And it's not just about money, is it? Multidimensional poverty, right?
That captures other deprivations, health, education, living standards. It affects even more people.
Public health saw progress, but then COVID hit hard.
It did, and we're also seeing a rise in non-communicable diseases like heart disease, diabetes. Education enrollment is up, which is good, but challenges remain in, actual learning outcomes, ensuring everyone gets fair access.
And human rights violations still happening despite frameworks.
Sadly, yes, modern slavery, misuse of digital tech for repression, these things persist. The roots are deep: history, global structures, policy failures, power imbalances.
So, looking ahead, what do the sources project for the future? Let's start with climate.
Okay, the IPCC scenarios, the SSPs, they show a range of warming depending on emissions. But even low-emission paths face continued impacts.
Impacts will get worse, with more warming, presumably.
Definitely, and they'll vary regionally, but escalate overall. Water stress is projected to increase significantly, and those critical minerals availability will really depend on how fast we transition to clean energy. Forest cover depends on land use, conservation, climate impacts. It's complex.
You mentioned something critical earlier: tipping points.
Yes, environmental tipping points. These are thresholds where you could see abrupt, maybe irreversible changes in Earth systems.
Like what?
Things like ice sheets disintegrating, major ocean circulation patterns collapsing, dieback of huge ecosystems like rainforests. The scary part is the risk of cascading effects, and some could potentially be triggered even at current warming levels or levels we're approaching very soon.
Wow.
And biodiversity's future projections suggest continued decline. Without really ambitious integrated action, business as usual isn't enough.
What about people? Demographics?
We're looking at global population likely peaking around the mid-2080s, then maybe a slow decline. Big regional differences though, and an overall aging population.
In technology, AI, automation.
Huge potential game changers for labor markets could boost productivity. But real concerns about job displacement, wage inequality.
Long-term economic shifts expected.
Developing countries might have opportunities, but again, how things like AI play out and the policies we choose will massively impact social equity.
The sources mentioned different future scenarios.
Yeah, illustrating the contrast, like a business as usual path versus a giant leap scenario showing vastly
different outcomes depending on
the scale and speed of real transformation, addressing poverty, inequality, food, energy, the whole package.
Okay, so let's try to bring this all together.
Right. The picture is one of significant interconnected sustainability challenges. That seems clear.
A climate crisis with growing impact.
A biodiversity crisis with alarming species
Loss and increasing pressure on essential resources like water and minerals.
And alongside that, persistent social inequalities potentially made worse by economic and tech shifts.
But there are pathways forward, mentioned opportunities.
Yes, absolutely. The transition to renewables, advances in sustainable agriculture, adopting circular economy principles, these offer ways to lessen the environmental
damage and create new economic opportunities to
potentially, yes, but, and this is crucial, it requires effective policies, strong governance, and frankly, fundamental shifts in societal values and behaviors to make sure these transitions are equitable.
So the future isn't predetermined.
Not at all. That's what the scenarios highlight. Continuing as we are. Business as usual carries huge risks, severe environmental degradation, social instability.
But the alternative, why that giant leap?
It offers a path. A more sustainable, more equitable future is possible, but it demands immediate, concerted, integrated action.
Across everything we've discussed: climate, biodiversity, resources, social equity, economic transformation.
Exactly, it all has to work together.
Which really brings us to a final thought. Perhaps for everyone listening, considering everything, especially those potential tipping points and the profound social and economic knock-on effects, what stands out to you as the most critical area needing immediate focus? And maybe, how does seeing the interconnectedness of it all change how you think about your own role, your own actions going forward? Understanding these dynamics, as this deep dive shows, is really just that first step towards shaping a different future. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more awesome content. Drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.